So now that we're done with the Bills team-by-team analysis, we're now going to go over to the Dolphins team-by-team analysis. And like we said before with the Bills and the Patriots, you're going to see the trend here. They have the second worst cap, the Dolphins, in the NFL. So their draft options are going to be limited. Their free agent targets are going to be very limited because they have to get rid of a lot of guys in order to get the players they want to free agency, if they even want to go to free agency. So to start off, team strengths for the Dolphins, it's going to be wide receiver, cornerback, and safety. And I only put wide receiver is because they're very deep at that position. Just to name a few, they got Jarvis Landry, Rashard Matthews, Kenny Stills,
Devontae Parker, who I think could play a big role for them.
Yeah, that's like 4 or 5 deep.
Like, Jarvis Landry's a big name, but besides that, they don't really... Sorry. Besides Jarvis Landry, they don't have any big names, but they have a lot of good, role players that will... They're deep at wide receiver, even though they don't have all those big names.
However, Rashard Matthews is a free agent for them.
Yep.
And, like we said, they're negative $7 million in the cap, I believe.
And he is, the wide receiver...
Actually,
like
8 almost, sorry.
Also, I forgot about Greg Jennings, but he didn't really play a big role, so, you don't really have to, say anything about him.
But, like I was about to say, wide receiver, that's not a deep... there's not a lot of good free agent wide receivers, what I was trying to say. Rashard Matthews is one of the, in this free agency period, he's actually, one of the top tier guys,
Absolutely.
He's one of the...
Because the wide receiver position in free agency.
It's weak. And, he's gonna... Because of that, he's gonna benefit from it. He's gonna get more money than, he normally would, just due to the fact that, it's not as strong as it's been, as we've seen years past.
Absolutely.
Alright, and with the cornerback position, I only put that because of Brett Grimes, and they had someone else. I just can't remember their name right now. Can you look? Can someone look that up?
I'm getting
so, Brett Grimes is still like a top 10 level cornerback.
I'd say so.
He's just like the little jitterbug guy.
He's been quiet the last few years. His stats don't show it, but he's been consistent.
I got the names of the other corner. It was Cortland Finnegan. And the other one was Bryce McCain. Cortland Finnegan.
Bryce
McCain was the good one.
He did play good.
He's a free agent and got lost to the Titans. Titans got him now.
Oh, okay.
So,
also the other strength is safety, where they have, I think his name...
Jones.
Jones, Rashad Jones.
Rashad Jones.
And they have someone else there. They have another big name guy at safety. I'm going to go look him up.
I got it.
Alright.
It is... What the heck? Oh, sorry.
Louis Delmas.
Louis Delmas, yes. And he's also a free agent.
So they have a lot of free agents to sign, and they can't sign them. So the Dolphins might be screwed this year.
Yeah,
they might franchise tag him.
I think the Dolphins...
Oh, no, did they... Yeah, they did,
Oliver Vernon.
They didn't. They got Oliver Vernon. Which leads me to an interesting point. The Dolphins, who was that defensive lineman that they re-signed?
Shelby?
No, the guy from the CFL.
Oh,
there was...
He had a really weird name. It's like...
We have him in the free agency thing. Let's see.
Clayton Lang.
Clayton
Lang, there it is. He looks like he has some
15
potential.
sacks in 35
and they
games.
paid him 3 years, $15 million,
Yeah,
I believe.
I think...
So they gave him a pretty hefty contract for somebody coming out of the CFL. So they have some amount of faith in him, and they want him for a decent amount of time. Which leads me to think that they might do a tag and trade with Oliver Vernon.
Maybe.
And so...
But again with Muhammad Wilkerson, those two guys, I don't know if I want to tag and trade Oliver Vernon.
He played really good.
He played really good, but I don't know if I want to give up. I don't know if I want to give up a first-round pick for him now. That's the problem. I might want to give up a first-round pick for Wilkerson. Even that's a stretch. I don't know about Oliver Vernon as a first-round worthy tag and trade guy. So now we have the team weaknesses, and the O-line is definitely a weakness because they have a lot of guys that didn't perform, and I'm pretty sure they got hurt.
Yep. And
so that's a big weakness, and I'm pretty sure they got some free agents in there too. Their D-line, I'm going to say, is a weakness right now because Cam Wake got hurt. Sue wasn't the guy that he used to be. I think
it was just their whole defensive line.
Just didn't perform.
I feel like it's a similar situation to the Bills. in the sense that they have great players. On paper, they look like they could be the best defensive line in the NFL.
Like Vernon, Shelby,
Vernon,
Sue.
Shelby, Sue,
they have the
Wade,
players, but just like
everyone.
Buffalo, like we've been saying with Buffalo, they just didn't.
That's what I'm saying. For some reason, when you have so much talent, like they just don't know how to balance it out, and like only some teams, like in the past, like you have just teams that have had great defensive lines and it's worked. I believe the Steelers many years ago had, so like with Mean Joe Green
Denver
and all
from
that.
this year.
Denver with this year. So it is possible. It's just sometimes some teams just get weird in these certain situations and just don't.
Yeah, defensive line is like tricky. It's a very tricky position with a lot of good players. They don't always live up to expectations.
Exactly, yeah. And we just gotta hope for them that Cameron Wake comes back and he continues to perform.
Cameron Wake. We forgot about him because he was lost to injury.
Yeah. So
he was playing good though.
He was playing great until he got knocked out, unfortunately, and that's when their whole team just started to decline, especially from the defensive line point of view. So.
All right. So the other weakness is a linebacker. And the only reason I put this is because it's not like I can name. Like,
you can name Koa Misi, Donnell Ellerby,
but they just didn't perform. Like that entire defense is like
They're
guys that
right
role player roles. Like Koa Misi and Ellerby are pretty good. They're not like superstars,
Yeah.
and that defense should have been better than it should.
Yeah. They also got Koa Misi to restructure their contract, so they're a little bit less than -$7 million in the cap. And here's a problem with them. Is that, in my opinion, they don't use their running backs like they should. Lamar Miller was playing fantastic when they gave him the ball more than 5 times.
Well, so, it all changed when, what was his name?
Jay Ajayi?
No, the coach, Philbin.
Oh.
When he was fired and Dan Campbell came in, Lamar Miller was putting up big numbers because Campbell was trying to get the ball in his hands as much as possible. He realized that he had a star at running back, which Philbin didn't realize. And once they started giving him the ball...
What Philbin tried to do was continue his offense that he had in Green Bay.
Yep.
And that was when Aaron Rodgers was just slanging the ball and doing all the kinds of crazy things, and it worked. He doesn't have Aaron Rodgers anymore, and he doesn't have the receivers that Aaron Rodgers did at that time. So he couldn't. That's why it didn't work. Joe Philbin isn't a bad coach necessarily.
His
scheme was good. It's just that his scheme.
Don't try to get into the
Relax. It's just that the scheme that he tried to use with them didn't work, and he was hard-headed and would like tunnel vision in the sense that it just. I can't believe he just yelled at the wall. And he didn't try to change. He didn't try to change to his team. He tried to make his team change to him. AJ, don't yell at the wall.
So another thing with Dan Campbell is at first he did give Miller the touches that he did, and at the end of the year he didn't give him those touches. I don't know why. Again, with Lamar Miller, he can get 20 carries a game, and he can get you 100 yards.
And a touchdown.
Like, if you check his fantasy stats, that's his, like... Him and Chris Ivory are the same type of guy.
And now, here's the problem, though, with the two of them. With Lamar Miller, he's a free agent this year. They didn't use him properly, and he's upset about it. And they're second worst in the cap. So, with that all being said, do they keep him? Because when they gave Jay Ajayi just those little bit of carries, he was averaging like 6 carries, 48 yards. He was looking really promising. And with them under the cap so much, and not even using him the way he did, properly, is it worth? I mean, he's worth it in general. But with the cap taken into account, and the way that they used him, and the way that the team was with the way that they used him, and the way that Jay Ajayi played, is it worth getting rid of him?
I don't know. I think that he's still a very valuable player if you just give him his touches, and hopefully the coaching staff, like Adam Gase, can realize that. They would have to get him at a right price. That's the only problem. And
But do you feel comfortable with Jay Ajayi?
I think they could be comfortable with Jay Ajayi if they just give him his touches. Again, it's just about touches for the running back position.
And I'm pretty sure they actually, I might have heard, I might be wrong, but I think they actually did restructure Ndamukong Suh's contract. I know they were talking about it. I'm not sure if it was finalized, but I know that there was talks about it, and it might actually have been finalized in the Ndamukong Suh contract. I don't know. I forget what the numbers are. I'll look it up in a minute, or you can. But they didn't, whatchamacallit? they didn't lose too much, I don't think. So,
I just looked it up. It says they're finalizing a deal. They're still looking at it. They're still making talks, but they haven't come to it.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if
they've wanted to.
They said in the next few days.
Because that's a big thing. Again, I think.
Is it for a lot though? Because I wasn't sure if Ndamukong Suh was really taking that much of a pay cut.
I don't know if it's a big pay cut.
I don't know about that.
They're still talking about it.
But again, I think we said it. I'm pretty sure I said it a question of the week. If they just get rid of if they get rid of his contract, I don't think they should. They can save $28 million.
Yeah, ridiculous amount of cash.
Exactly.
Which
So
is why they need to restructure him. He's not worth that much money. He's a phenomenal player, but he's not worth what they're giving him right now, which is why they're restructuring his team.
All right. So what the team needs, we said O-lineman, running back LB. The cap situation right now is
horrible.
Negative $8 million. Terrible. Second worst in the NFL. So now with the free agent targets and draft options. Again, the same story with everyone in the AFC East besides the Jets. They can't resign. They can't get any free agents unless they make a big cut. The Bills did it. The Jets did it with getting more cash space so that they can do Wilkerson and re-sign Fitzpatrick. They need to make that big cut. They need to. I don't know who's it's going to be if they want to restructure the Ndamukong Suh deal. I don't even know if that's going to be enough. If they just if they would have to cut off at least $10 million. I don't even know if Sue wants to do that. So. And also, they were talking about restructuring Cameron Wake's deal, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
So but they still need to make that big cut, that guy that didn't really perform well and has a big hit. I can't really think of anybody right now, but they need to make that, or just a couple other guys that are $3 million.
Yeah.
Need to cut, what the Rams did. The Rams cut a lot of their veteran players, too much maybe, just to get that extra cap. So, with the draft options. At O-lineman, there's a lot. I think that they're really...
They need an O-line.
They need... But I think their need is at, guard. Not so much as, left tackle and right tackle. Because they did get Jawan James at, right tackle or left tackle.
He did pretty decent. He wasn't a hero, but he got the job
but they need, guards and centers. And that's going to be a problem in the draft because there's not really a lot of good ones. They could probably get one in the second round. With running back, again, if they can't re-sign Lamar Miller, I don't know. I don't think you get someone in the draft. I just think you should go with Jay Ajayi because I think
you can get someone in the draft, but I don't think
third down bag. Exactly. And my dogs are barking now. And
that's about it for this. I mean, that's pretty much everything that there is for the Dolphins for the most part.